friends, it's Sharon from Mad Paper Crush here. Welcome back to my channel. And today I have a new digital out that I wanted to show you. And then I'm also going to be doing a project with this digital. So first I'm just going to give you a run through of what the digital is. I'm calling it Photobooth. And around my part of the country, my state, Pennsylvania, we are getting into state fair mode. So it seems like state fairs are always kind of in August and September, and we're moving into that time. And I just thought this was a fun sort of representation of going to state fairs and getting into those photo booths where you could, have pictures taken of you or your friends or whatever. And I wanted them to look like old pictures that were something you could, take out of the machine and take home with friends and stuff like that. So a lot of them are couples, and a lot of them are singles, and you can even see groups of friends and things like that too. So this was really fun to put together, and I tried to make them look all antique and old, so there's like cracks and different things in the pictures, so they're definitely not pristine pictures, but I wanted them to look vintage in that way. So I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pages total in this kit, and so there's actually 75 different pictures, but there's actually 76 on the pages. I did one as a duplicate so that there wouldn't be an empty space. So actually this one right here of this lovely couple right there is also duplicated here, but all of the other ones are unique. So let me just go through, and I will tell you, when I was printing these out, I like to print them on different papers just to test things out. So this one is actually on a matte photo paper, so you can see there is a little bit of a sheen to it as you're looking at it. And the other ones I just printed out on cardstock paper. So, and also just so you're aware, each square that when you print it out, if you print it out just from the size there, is about 1 3/4 inches square. So that's the size of all these. So if you size down on your printer, you could, print them out smaller if you wanted to. So so here's the first page. There's really a lot to look at, a lot of different people here. But I just love some of the smiles. You can see people laughing. And then in some of the other ones, like this one, you can see them, this couple's having a little kiss there in the photo booth. And so there's some older couples. I just love some of these pictures. Some sisters maybe here, or just friends. There's some single pictures in here. I love some of the group pictures and how they came out. This people here sharing a little private moment, I think. And then this is the third page. So there's also, I love this lady in her fur here, and this guy in his little sailor's uniform there. So there's lots of different pictures here, and you can see there's some sepia, some that are kind of full black and white. I tried to leave in some color in different places. Let's see if we can find some more of those that have some color. So there's just touches of color here and there. So like this one, you can kind of see she has a pink shirt on, and her lipstick is kind of showing through here. This one too, you can see his little red shirt there, and her lipstick on that one. So there's touches of red and different colors throughout this one too. You can kind of see has more color there. You can almost see the yellow of her blonde hair in that one. Oh, these two, that's right. This one has a little bit more color in that one as well. So touches of color here and there. There's another one with some lipstick just showing through there. Some more little young men sailors there, and couples and friend groups throughout. So this is it. And then on the last page, I added just this sort of spot where I had some words. So if you didn't have, stamps or a typewriter or something like that, I thought these were sort of representative of what a photo booth is. Memories, a good time at the fair, good friends, happy times, family, Friends Forever, You and Me, Smile, those kinds of things. So I just thought that was a fun add-in that you could print out and cut them out to add to collages or to your journal pages and things like that. So this is my photo booth kit, and it is in my Etsy store, and I will link to that above, and it will also, the link to the kit will also be down in the description of this. And now I wanted to use this kit to make a fun little project, and we're going to do that next. All right, we're going to get started on a project using my new digital kit called Photobooth, and what I decided to do was a little zine. So my friend Michelle has been doing these lately, and she's been trading with people, and I thought it looks like so much fun. I have done these before. I actually did one in another YouTube video some time ago, and I will link that video down below, where I made a little zine from my digital kit called Letters from Verona. And I had so much fun doing it, but I only did one, and I wasn't swapping them with anyone. I was just making the zine. And so I want to do this again, and I want to kind of do it the full way of a zine, where you can, you make the zine and then you make digital copies of it so that you can swap with people but still have the original, so that you can, swap them over and over again. So that's sort of my plan for this one. And like I said, I was inspired by my friend Michelle, who's been doing a lot of these lately over from Tape and Twine, and I will link her videos down below so that you can kind of get an idea of how she's been doing them. And I'm just going to kind of go through basically how I do them. And this isn't, I'm not going to give you all the background on zines here, but certainly there's a lot of interesting videos and things like that about what these zines are and how people do them, and kind of the history of them. So anyway, I'm going to be starting with an 8.5 by 11 US letter size piece of paper, and this one, it's just like a gray copy paper, but I thought with some of my black and white photos from the kit that I'm planning to use, this would be a good base to start with. So I folded it in half one way, and then I'm going to fold it in half another way. So right now all I'm doing is I'm building the base of the zine, so I know where to put everything. And then once you have those two folds done, then you put the paper long way and you fold up onto the middle with one side, and then you do the same thing on the other side. You fold up to the middle so that you have sort of 8 blocks here. And you can kind of see they're tall blocks, so that's gonna make our zine. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to, now you can do this many different ways. I've seen people do that lots of different ways. So basically what we want to do is we want to cut on this line that goes in between these two cross points. So when you look at it, it's the only line that doesn't, these lines are the only line that doesn't have sort of an outside end to it. So if I looked at this line, that ends on an outside, this line ends on an outside, this line ends on an outside. These two lines do not end on an outside, they end on an inside, and we're going to cut those. I hope that makes sense. So you can do this a couple of different ways. One way is to fold it back in half the long way like this, and then just cut. So we're basically cutting 2 lines at one time, and I'm going to cut right on the fold, just to the point where it crosses those other lines. So, ooh, not any further than that. So you can see I have now a little bend in the middle. And then what we're going to do is you're going to kind of bend the paper up and pinch the sides so that you kind of have a diamond started here. And then once you pull that together, you can see I kind of have a little cross or an X there. And then I'm just going to flatten that out so that I can make sure my folds are kind of staying where they should. So just like that. And now I can fold the whole thing over. I'm going to kind of do it one at a time here to make your zine. And this one didn't fold perfectly there, but I'm just going to try and hold it in place to see if we can get a better crease going. There we go, I think, like that. Okay, so now we have our little booklet, which is our zine. So there are kind of like 4 pages here. And so this will be the one that I'm going to work on. But when I open it up to work on it, I actually made a second one here where I marked each of the spots. So this is my front cover. And as I open it up, this is page 1, page 2. You flip 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the back cover. So when I open this up, I kind of have everything marked where I'm going to put things. And you can see this is, each of these sort of paired ones are the spreads as I was folding them. So let me just kind of show you that again. So if I grab my pencil, so 1 and 2, this is, you know, a connected spread here. And 3 and 4 is a connected spread, and 5 and 6 is a connected spread. So if I wanted the pages to match in between, you know, I could do that. But if I fold it like this now, if I open it up like this is just going to be my reference point. I'm probably going to put that off to the side. And you could actually work right on this if you're going to, you know, just work over top of the words, but I kind of like having a reference off to the side so that I, you know, kind of know what I'm working on. So if I start, for instance, if I wanted to start with the back and front cover, you know, I would kind of start it like this. I just have to be sure that each piece goes together like that. So I'm going to put this one over to the side, but this is what I'm going to kind of be working off of as I do my zine. All right, before I get started on everything, I just wanted to kind of tell you what I pulled out. So I did cut down some of the squares out of Photobooth, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to probably distress all of the sides of these, since when I cut them down, on some of them you can see the white edging, and I don't want that to be showing. So I'll probably use my black soot, I think, if I can find that one, my distress ink, that's black soot on there. And then I also pulled out some background papers. So I found a bunch of scraps that I was trying to keep it, you know, fairly neutral in color. So because my background is kind of a gray background, I was trying to find things that had some black in them, or that at least the writing was a little bit darker or something like that. So I have, you know, some of these scrap papers here. I have some book page, which definitely is nice with the black papers there. I pulled out some ledger paper. So a bunch of different things that I will probably be experimenting with to see what I might like on there. I also pulled out this colorful picture here, and I wasn't sure if that would, you know, I'm not sure it would do, just because, you know, I'd be covering things up probably with some of my things. So anyway, so I just pulled out a bunch of things to kind of try to see what I could come up with that. I will probably add some words from the kit to this as well, but I'm going to wait to cut those out until I kind of get my base going. And the only other thing that I wanted to mention is that I am going to, I think I need to find my black soot right now so that you can kind of see what I'm going to do. Nope, that's not it. Well, it's hiding from me. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to put my zine back together. And then I'm going to distress all of the edges while it's folded so that I can easily, you know, figure out what goes where. So I'm just going to grab my, which one I usually use. I think it's this one. I'm just going to, I definitely need a piece of paper for this one. So I'll have this all over the place. So just kind of like this, and since most of it's going to be covered up, I'm not worried about the insides. I just want to get around the edges so that when I start to cover it, you'll see these black edges kind of all around the paper. So I'm just going to go through on each one of them, and even down the middle of each of the sections here, and give them a good distress ink there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done, and then I'll be right back. All right, so here I am just checking my little template there, and I wanted to start with the covers, but as I started pulling out papers, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. So I just thought, well, you know what, let me just start working on something else and see where it goes. And what I did like about the templates is that each of your page counterparts, your little 2-page spread here, both of them are right side up on the same side. So as I was going through, I decided for this book page to be a 2-page spread. So you'll see I'm going to cut down book pages to size there, and I'm going to put them on either side of that little 1-page spread. And then I'm going to go over to the left-hand side and do that little 2-page spread as well. So that was kind of neat, working with it, that I didn't have to worry about if it was going to be right side up or upside down. I just had to be sure I was working along the same, side, and then I could flip the whole thing over 180 degrees and work right side up on the other side. So for the left hand 2-page spread here, I just picked some paper scraps that had some very little wording on it, but I thought they looked good together, and so I wanted to cut them down, and the one was a little bit thin, so I thought I was just gonna try to get it to match pretty close. So on this spread, the outside edges of the page will be showing a little bit more than the other ones, but I was good with that. I just thought that these looked nice the way that they were. So once I get these two backgrounds figured out, I went ahead and decided to glue them down because, as it always goes with me, if I don't do something right away, I'll forget the way I had it or something like that. So I just wanted to get these backgrounds down so that I could work on the other side and have sort of all the backgrounds done at one time. So I'm just going to glue on the ones for the left-hand side as well and get those taken care of. Right, and now I started working on the other side. So I have flipped the whole zine 180 degrees so you can see the 2-page spreads that I was working on before are now upside down, and I'm working on the right side up portion of these two-page spreads. So I just picked 2 more scrap papers that had some script handwriting on them that I kind of liked. I liked the way they sort of filled the background up, and then I'm just cutting them down to size once again, giving myself maybe an 1/8 of an inch border so you can still kind of see those distressed black edges. And then because I kept picking it up 100 times, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to use this ledger paper because I love this ledger paper, and I'll just make it work. So it was a little bit shorter than I wanted it to be, but that was okay. I just said, you know what, let's just go ahead and do it. So I cut it down to fit. And then as I was looking, one was a little bit smaller than the other, so I traded them up to be sure that I had them, kind of where I wanted them. And even now, I do believe that before I glue them down, I flip them over because I like the handwriting and stuff that's on these. So you can see I'm kind of flipping them over and, deciding which ones I want. So um, I think it's great not having a plan when you're working on something. So this was one of those cases, and sometimes I like working that way. It's kind of freeing, and you can be creative, and you don't have to have a whole plan in advance. So now I'm just going to glue down those other 2 background papers, and then we're going to start on some fun stuff. All right, backgrounds are all done. And now, as I said, we're on to the fun stuff. And now I'm grabbing some of the Carnival pieces and the stamps that I had, and then choosing which one of my photo booth photos I wanted to go in each 2-page spread. So in this one, I just decided to use one of the photo booth photos in this 2-page spread, but I'm using a little merry-go-round and a little stamp there that I thought would look fun on top. And of course, these decorations can be anything that you have. You can see I'm going to be adding some washi tape to them, and when I add washi tape, I always like to add a little extra glue so that things stay stuck down. So the blue in this washi tape, I thought kind of brought out the blue in that stamp. And then I'm just going to glue these other pieces down. And like I said, you don't even have to glue things down at this point if you don't want to. You could do this more like a master board where you add stamps or, different things like that, even add paint or things like that, whatever you'd like to in this here. But I'm just going with the little bits that I had kind of cut out and gotten ready. And I wanted to add this photo booth photo to this one. And I'm deciding, you know what, I need a little more. I had pulled out some of my black and white washi tape and I thought that was kind of a nice addition to here. So I'm just adding a couple of pieces of the black and white washi tape around the spread and even over the fold of the spread, which I think is fun too. And now this one I'm working on, I think I also just chose one photo booth photo for this 2-page spread as well. But I picked the roller coaster and I have a little kind of like a circus tent that's on the right hand side there that I thought would be fun on the page. And I picked a stamp that kind of matched some of the coloring in the tent and the roller coaster, that little red there. And then I also had some washi tape that had some red in it, which I just thought would once again pull out the colors and make them pop. And so you can see I'm just deciding where things should go as I go. And this one goes over the fold mark 2, which I think adds a little bit of interest there. So now I'm just kind of adding things down, and as I go, I kind of tilt things, to the left or to the right, just kind of on how it looks to my eye. So I do try to, look at that before I glue things down, but, in the end, you just kind of have to kind of see where it looks best to you. More washi tape, and this one I'm even wrapping around to the back side of the page, which won't show, but I do like that it just kind of wraps around there. And then more black and white washi tape to kind of pull everything together there. All right, so that's good for those two, and now we're moving on to the other side. And once again, I just flipped the whole paper 180 degrees so that I know that I'm working right side up on these two sides. Now for this 2-page spread, I did decide to pull out 2 different photo booth photos for it. And I really like the way that works. I was kind of thinking I probably should have done that on the other ones as well, but that's okay. We're gonna keep moving on. Sometimes you just got to go forward. And I pulled out a little Ferris wheel illustration and another little stamp for this one. So I'm just putting some black and white washi tape right down the middle, and then I'm going to go ahead and start gluing down those photos. And I did decide for the stamp, when you see me glue that one down, that one actually hangs off the side of the page. And I did that on purpose because I kind of wanted to cut it off so that it, looked intentional, like it was, off of the page. So before I cut it, I am just going to add a couple more pieces of washi tape to pull everything together on this little spread here. And then I grab my scissors and just cut off that little piece of that stamp there so that it, lines up with the edge. All right, and the last spread I'm doing is the front covers, the front and back covers. So I did save this one for last because I just kind of wanted to sort of get my feet wet into decorating all the other ones before I got to the front and back cover, but we're working on it now. And I love using these photo booth photos. I think they're so much fun. So I did decide to use one for the front cover and one for the back cover, just so there would be, more interesting photos to kind of look at. And once again, I'm wrapping some washi tape around the side of the paper there. And since this ledger paper doesn't have too much on it, adding some of that black and white washi tape was kind of nice because it just gave, you could see some numbers and things there that gave it a little bit more interest. So on the back side, I wanted the photo to go on the lower half, and you kind of see that on the right side, the front cover, I have the photo down at the bottom, but I do decide to pick it up because I realize, oh, I don't want them sort of lined up. I want them asymmetrical. So I decide to move that one up to the top there. And once again, adding a little stamp and a little tent onto these, and we're almost done decorating. Okay, last step, I did cut out some of those words from the kit that I could add to each of the pages. And you can see here, I picked out a couple and just tried to decide where they fit best onto each of the pages. So I did, after I cut them out, I did distress them, kind of like I did with the background of the entire zine so that they all sort of matched. And now I'm just kind of putting them, like I said, wherever I think they look good on the zine. All right, I think I'm finished with this, or mostly. I may go back in and, I don't know, add some more pieces here and there, but I think we're pretty good. And I wanted to just fold it up and do a little flip through for you. So as long as you know where your cover is, this is the two that I wanted to be my cover. So I'm just going to fold it up with my cover being in the front, and then you can see Happy Times on the front. I thought that was fun since I kind of wanted to have a carnival-ish fair theme. And I thought the Good Friends was good here since I have the picture of the three ladies together there. And I love how each page matches as we go through. And this one has memories on it. And then this one has Good Times. And then the last page just says Remember. So I just need to sign it on the back here, and it will be all ready for me to make copies of and send out. And that's it for my zine for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, friends, and thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you'll go out and make your own zine. They are so much fun to do. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.